Am I like your textbook healer who's good at sorting other people out but can't sort himself out? There's another excellent question, and I've allowed that to roll for a little while. Sure, but only so that I can have the last laugh. What do I mean specifically? I'll tell you. If this was all that I was able to do, and I was stuck in this uncorporeal, spiritualized world, sure, you could say that I was typecast by my own bullshology. If I'm a healer, have I done any dirty work of the healing field? I was a care assistant. Does that answer your question? If I'm some kind of spiritual warrior, am I so egotistical that I am unable to do what other people tell me or ask me to do? I worked as a taxi driver, following orders about who to go pick up, where to take them, and how much to charge them. And to suffer all kinds of drunken bullshit. Does that answer that question? I've been able to modestly follow orders because I really do believe that if a person loses the ability to follow direction, well, they lose a lot in life. I do healings because I care, and I've given personal care to residents in care homes, and I do care for some of them and actually like some of them, a lot of them actually. Have I been able to apply myself to anything other than the caring service industries? Well, as one of my latest things, I went to college and did a 12-month course in building and construction, bricklaying, plumbing, carpentry and joinery, simple home electrics and communications. But then that's part of any course, and I'm a communicator anyway. I was the second fastest person in the class to complete my plumbing projects. I was able to bend the copper pipes to the right angles by eye. There was one guy who was absolutely excellent. He was the fastest, and I don't think I could have been as fast as him anyway. There's honesty and truth for you. I didn't want to actually be the fastest, partly because I didn't want to become the hate of the class. I paced myself in bricklaying, and I chose to be the person who was in about the middle. I watched the way that the other students built their walls and the way they measured the plumb and the level of the wall, and I made a point of getting mine right. I took my time over it. That's not being conceited or boastful. That's just saying it as it is. Carpentry and joinery, I learned a few things about cutting joints and stuff. I just did what I did in the time that I had. I'm proud of the window that I made and the door that I made. I gave the window to a friend of ours. I don't know whether he's used it or not, or chucked it or whatever. I've used the door that I made in our daughter's playhouse as the door of her playhouse, and it's lasted to this day, even though it's an indoor door, and various other bits and pieces. So I've learnt a few things. Now I am confident that I could build a house. I am definitely not confident that I could do the electrics. I wouldn't even dare have a go at that. You know, plumbing, I would do it if I had to, but I wouldn't like to. It's not my cup of tea. But if I was pushed, I'd relearn and do it. Okay? Bricklaying, I enjoy bricklaying. Carpentry and joinery, I enjoy carpentry and joinery. So, can I apply myself to stuff other than healing? Yes, I've done it. I've done that. I've also been a security officer. Haven't been a doorman. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do door work. No interest whatsoever. I want to not and avoid doing door work. I've been a security officer at various different places, including land-based wind farms. 2 or 3 of those. And at Centre for Health Science at Rakemoor Hospital in Inverness. That's something I'm quite proud of doing. and they very much respected me. In fact, the facilities management company at the time said to me that at the time they missed me. They missed my help. They missed the way that I handled extra duties that I did. And that's nice to know. I have my offshore survival training for working in the oil industry. Boziet with Mist International with Norway, which we paid for, not paid for by an agency. We paid for it. This is a point of pride for me, because this was me facing what was one of, blown up out of all proportion to become one of my biggest demons since I first came to Scotland over the years. When I first came to Scotland, I had friends, etc., saying to me, you should go and be a rigger, mate, that'll make a man of you. And my attitude at the time was, I'm already a man. I don't need any other bullshit to tell me I'm a man. I'm already a man. And what makes me a man is the thing that I've got between my legs. Nothing more and nothing less. I heard all kinds of horror stories about the survival training that you do, particularly the upturned helicopter in the water training. Now, I made a decision when I was doing that training, and I stuck to my decision all the way through that whole horrifying situation. I was looking forward to that whole upturned helicopter in the water. I was going to handle it in a specific kind of way, and this is how I did it. Sitting in the helicopter, we've got all the equipment on, breathing apparatus and all the rest of it, as you do. As we're going down and the helicopter mock-up is turning upside down, there's people already starting to panic and leap out of their seats and try and push the windows out, etc. There's people panicking all over the place, and I'm looking at them laid back and cool as a cucumber. Okay? I'm watching them all escaping, or trying to escape. I was actually the last one out of the helicopter, made a point of being so. I took my time about it. I took, I don't know exactly, 15 to 20 seconds under the water, even before I unbuckled my buckle. Then I took my belt off. I looked around first of all. I pushed the window out. I noticed at this point there's a couple of divers reaching in as if they're trying to come into the window to come and rescue me. And I'm like that at them. Get out of my face. Go on, bug off. You know. So I kind of made my own slow way out of the window. Swam to the surface of the water. The guys are looking at me, you know. I did all that deliberately to demonstrate how controlled I can be in an emergency situation, because I can be that controlled. I've studied Zen and stuff like that over the years. I can be that controlled in an emergency situation. Well, let's face it, there are people who panic, even in a mock-up situation like that. There are people who completely fluff it up, okay? You can drown in 2 inches of water. Doesn't need to be in the North Sea. You can drown in a swimming pool. You can drown in a cup of tea, you know. I did a firewalk a few years ago. We had this pep talk and training about exactly how to go about it, the hype up that we did, the speed at which we need to walk, and the fact that at some point we might have, if we're walking too slowly, we might have a guy each side of us trying to cart us off, grabbing our arms and taking us away. I respected the guy's training, but all through that and even before that, I'm doing this firework my way, at my speed, my pace. I'm going to walk the way I want to walk. I am emulating the stories I'd heard as a kid of Shadrack, Meshach and Abednigo. That was the spirit, that was my very manifestation for that firewalk. The spirit of Shadrack, Meshach and Abednigo. And that's actually words of a Bob Marley song, isn't it? When it came to the firewalk itself, sure, I started to walk. I sauntered real slow over the coals. Okay? I did not hop. I did not try to be light-footed, trying to stay off the coals. I put my feet down fully. I stood on the coals. I walked as slow as I could possibly walk across the coals. Now, a couple of guys did come and touch my arms as if to say, come on, we're cutting you off. And I went, no, leave me alone. I'm fine. And continued to walk at my pace. Completed the firewalk. never had any burns, never had any ill effects. I am answering as thoroughly as I can what I think you might need to understand in order to fully trust and employ a person to be a serious change consultant, to employ a person to bring out a group's personal wizardry and power. So let's just talk for a while about what I mean about subjects allied to wizardry. For those of you who are interested, the stories of this man Jesus, this guy they call Jesus the Christ, if he ever existed, in actual fact, they were some of my most heroic stories as a child. If ever this personage ever really did exist, he is one of my greatest heroes, even if he didn't, because of the things even that he was purported to have done. Now, I've read that Jesus was a shapeshifter. This man Jesus was one of my greatest heroes simply because of his intentions, talent and ability, because he was purported to have said that greater things than this you shall all one day do, and that if any two people here on earth shall ask for something in the same manner, it shall be provided. These things say something about his faith in the human being, the human condition, the human mind, the human heart, about the abilities latent within people. He is not my only hero. I have lots of other heroes. I'm not a hero worshipper, but these heroes include people who are alive today. As I say, I don't necessarily practice heroicism, but I certainly do have a respect for the things that people can achieve and for the things that people say. I give respect to people. Merlin was a kingmaker. I hope that in some way, calling myself a wizard, I also act as some kind of kingmaker. That's not by laying myself down and allowing you or anyone else to trample roughshod all over me. Something I remember about this man Jesus was that a number of his healings included the situation where a person would fall down as if asleep, and then when they woke, they would awake healed of whatever their issue was. I've been playing with hypnosis most of my life, on and off. I'm certainly very excellent at making up hypnotic style scripts, and I'm also very imaginative. So I can make and create extra powerful hypnotic scripts. I've certificates from various schools of hypnosis and hypnotherapy and hypnology. They're slightly different things. For instance, from the British School of Yoga, very respectable, very respected. I'm a certified NLP trainer, trained by Steve G. Jones. I have trained in basic holistic marketing, master business success coach, practitioner of emotrance, self-esteem elevation for children, Huna and Kapuna Reiki, numerology, up to advanced level 2, advanced NLP sales training, certified master life coach, certified law of attraction, advanced practitioner, various wisdom of Merlin teachings, including Merlin Reiki, Dragon Reiki, wisdom of Merlin Reiki, Dragon Key, and various Lemurian Reiki teachings, advanced diplomas in clinical hypnotherapy, several certificates for NLP life coaching, and advanced and master practitioner and trainer in NLP and life coaching, clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist, various Huna trainings with various people, Sekkim and homeopathy and herbalism. I also have a Scottish vocational qualification in amenity horticulture to support my interest in trees and herbs. Okay, so we've briefly outlined things that I've studied that are allied to wizardry. I'd like to spend a little time just now talking about the nearest thing that is marketed nowadays online specifically to wizardry, which is the ability to manifest things. Okay? They call it law of attraction, or the law of attraction. And there's a lot of stuff online about this supposed law of attraction. And there are lots of teachers of this law of attraction who are making decent money teaching this law of attraction stuff. As I call myself a wizard plenty, I give myself that accolade. I'd like to spend a while now telling you of how I have utilised law of attraction specifically in my life to manifest certain specific types of outcomes.